welcome to Pahlish with Ray. I'm Rachel, and today I'm going to be sharing with you what I wore on my nails in November. Before we get started, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you're excited to see what kind of Mannys I was feeling for the end of fall, and if you're not already subscribed, make sure you do so you don't miss out on future uploads. So November was a wonderful month for Mannys. I got a lot in. Well, not just Mannys, but polishes in general. Altogether, I wore 23 polishes. That did, however, include quite a few toppers. I was really feeling the combos this month. So if you've never seen one of my what I wore videos before, basically we are going to check out all of the polishes that I wore in November. First, we will look at pedicure polishes, then we'll check out the manicures that I wore that I liked okay. There are a lot of those this month. And then we'll look at manicures I really didn't like, polishes I didn't like, and ones that I may be planning to destash. And then at the end, we will look at the manicures that I absolutely loved. So this month is kind of like a hodgepodge of colors a little bit. I looked at my rack and just try to decide, okay, I've got one more month, 4 more weeks to wear what I really want to wear off of my rack. What are my priorities? Some of them I wore because they'd been on previous racks before and I just had to finally get them on my nails. And some of them I just couldn't wait to wear, so I went ahead and put them on. A few of them weren't even on my rack at all. I just got an idea and I wanted to create that manicure. So let's take a look, starting with pedicures. The first pedicure that I wore in November comes from Sally Hansen. This one's part of their Miracle Gel line. It's called Spice Age. Spice Age is a metallic chocolatey brown. This was a beautiful polish, and actually when I wore it as a pedicure, I was kind of regretting wearing it as a pedi because I think it would have made an amazing manicure. It just has such a rich, deep, beautiful base color. It was perfect for fall. It would be beautiful in wintertime too. Definitely like a comfort color. Will 100% wear this again as a pedicure and can't wait to wear it as a mani soon too. The other pedicure shade that I wore in November comes from Essie. This one is called Climbing High. This one is a deep, dark charcoal gray cream. This actually came out in Essie's summer collection this year, but it did not feel summery to me. It did feel unique enough for me to add it to my collection. I don't have many charcoal gray creams just because this isn't a shade that I wear on my nails. I'm not super fond of gray creams anyway. I don't find that they typically look great against my skin tone, but this one seemed unique, so I grabbed it. I was actually pretty surprised how much I liked wearing this. Once it's on the nails, and you can kind of tell in the bottle, it's a really dark gray base color. So when I took it out of bright lighting, it almost looked black, but when you were in brighter lighting, you could see that it was a dark gray. It just kind of felt moody and grungy, and I was really feeling this kind of vibe in November. Formula was great for this too. It was fully opaque in 2 coats. Another one that I can't wait to wear as a manicure, probably with a topper. All right, on to manicures now, and we're starting with the ones that I liked okay. The first one comes from Bluebird Lacquer, and it is called Bark Side of the Moon. This one has a beautiful kind of olivey green base, and it is loaded with shifting shimmer that shifts red to copper to gold to green. So this shade I think could have been in the love category. The only reason it ended up in the light category is I think it would have been more appropriate for Halloween. That is why it is a Bluebird Lacquer polish, but I didn't get around to it in October, so I wanted to get around to it in November. It was incredibly shifty. The shifts were so beautiful in every lighting. In bright lighting, you got a really beautiful green polish with like a gold shimmer, a copper shimmer. But once you took it into lower lighting, it didn't look green at all. Green was just one of the shifts you saw, and it kind of took on a multi-chrome effect. It was so, so beautiful. I did feel like while wearing this that it reminded me of something else that I had. I'm not sure what that is. In my brain, for some reason, what's coming to mind is Wildflower Lacquer Lick Rust. But I'm pretty sure that one does not have the same bold green base. I think it's a little bit more brown leaning. So I am gonna have to do some comparisons and see if this one is something I have a dupe for. If I do, I don't need both of them, but I might keep this one because it did have a wonderful formula and I liked wearing it. Another Bluebird that I wore this month is called Heaps of Fun. This one is so unique and interesting. It has a brown crelly base and it's loaded with iridescent shifting flakes that are mostly blue to green, but I also see purple and pink at extreme angles. This polish was just an emotional roller coaster for me. When I put it on initially, I was not loving it, if I'm being honest, but once I had it on and saw it in different lighting, I did like it. This one's definitely unique. I have nothing like it in my collection, and I just loved how there was so much juxtaposition between the bright glowy flakes and the brown chocolatey base. They like aren't a combination that I would imagine, but they somehow work so well together. The flakes in here were super glowy as well. You can see them. Oh, they're beautiful. I feel like I'm being like a little tough with this light category this month. I just really loved the ones that are in the love category. So if any of them, I don't have that same instant like, oh, I've got to put that on again feeling, then it's going in the light category. And this one was borderline love. I really did end up enjoying it so much. The next one I wore is another borderline love, but I'm putting it in the light category. It comes from Orly and it is called Light My Campfire. This one is a beautiful like liquid metallic shade. Like it looks like metal in the bottle, and it's like a coppery, fiery, beautiful shade. I don't know what else to say. So I heard lots of people talk about this polish last year when it released. I am so glad I have it in my collection. I'm so glad I finally got around to wearing it, and I hope Orly makes more shades like this. This polish was so incredibly glowy. It just looked like there was a light inside this polish. It glowed. I didn't necessarily love this tone against my skin tone. I kind of feel like it didn't look particularly good on myself, but it was just in general a really beautiful color. And I think another thing that kept it from being in that love category is, you'll probably see in my pictures, I do have a little bit of like tip wear and smudging, shrinkage on my tips from having to do things with my hands shortly after putting this on. Anytime that happens, that just makes me like, oh man, fall a little bit out of love with a polish. But it was still a beautiful color. You can see just how much it glows. Yeah, this one was nice. The next one is from Night Owl Lacquer, and it's called Friends Don't Lie. This one is another really interesting shade. The base is like a antique gold shifty brown, and then it's got a red shift in there. It might be a multi-chrome, and then it's got lots of gold reflective glitter. So I'm like reconsidering now putting this one in the love category. I really did enjoy it. The shifts were beautiful, and it's another one that's just very unique to my collection. Just that brown to antique gold to red shift screamed Thanksgiving to me, and the gold reflective glitter is there, but it's not so intense that it's difficult to apply. It wasn't awful to remove either, and it smoothed out pretty well with just a regular glossy top coat, a thicker one though. The last individual polish that I have in this category comes from Nailed It, and it's called Ukra Do It. This one is a gorgeous purpley pinky red base with tons of flakies. They shift from red to copper to gold to green. So this one could have been in that love category, but I just didn't feel like the base color was quite what I wanted for myself. I'm kind of like a little bit just unsure how to take these kind of purpley red base colors. Part of me wishes it was a little bit more red. I think that would have put it in the love category. But again, regardless, this one just has an incredible formula. The flakes were beautiful, super duper shifty. It's got just a little bit of hollow sparkle in there as well. I love all of these polishes from Nailed It, but this color specifically wasn't necessarily my favorite. It did feel like cranberry sauce though, which is why it's called Ukra Do It. So that's why I picked this one to be my Thanksgiving Manny this year, and I really did enjoy that, but I didn't necessarily love the polish. If it was named anything else, I might be destashing it, maybe. Then the rest of the things that I liked this month were some combos, polishes, and then toppers. The first combo is Bee's Knees Lacquer, God, Queen, Terine, and Troy. And this one is like a reddish brown base, and it might be a multi-chrome. I think it is. It shifts red to copper to gold to green. And then I eventually topped it with Caloris de Carol Flame. This one is a clear base with an iridescent flaky shift from red to copper to gold to green. So something about the Bee's Knees lacquer polish just felt so super luxurious. Like the deep, rich colors reminded me of like a velvet chair or something. It just felt very fancy. So I loved wearing this. It was super vampy on its own. I really enjoyed it. Not enough to put it in the love category, but I did really, really like it. And so I wore this, I think by itself for 3 or 4 days. It was a long time. And once I started getting tip wear, I did want to extend the life of the manicure because I didn't have time to completely change it out. And so I added a topper, Caloris de Carol Flame. I tried a few toppers over the Bee's Knees and ended up picking Flame because the shifts were so similar between the two, the red to copper to gold to green. I just felt like they shifted together perfectly, and the Caloris de Carol added just a little bit of sparkle or glisten or twinkle to the Bee's Knees lacquer. They were really, really beautiful together. Another combo I wore and like comes from Cert Colors. As a base, I wore Cert Colors Navy Jelly. This one is, as it's described, a navy jelly. It's like kind of a dustier navy blue and a little bit on the lighter side. And then I sandwiched navy jelly with Rogue Lacquer Apparition. This one is a holographic flaky topper and it is pretty dense. So I was wanting to finally wear navy jelly. This was one that I just had to get on my nails because I'd neglected it too long since purchasing it. I've had it for at least a year, maybe 2. So I finally got it on my nails. I didn't want to wear it by itself. I experimented with a few toppers and ended up layering it with Rogue Lacquer Apparition because I really liked how dense this Rogue Flaky is. All of Rogue's toppers are very dense and opaque. They can build up to opacity on their own, I think. I've never tried, but I would assume they can. And I just thought that would be perfect to pair with a jelly because I didn't really want to see too much of my visible nail line. And when I sandwiched the two, I think I did 1 coat of Apparition, 1 coat of navy jelly, another coat of Apparition, another coat of navy jelly. When I did that, I could not see any visible nail line. And I actually had a lot of people comment that they loved that this manicure kind of reminded them of denim. So I like that. I didn't think about that. Once it was on my nails though, it did feel very wintry. And so for that reason, it ended up in this like category. But it definitely inspired me to try to grab some more of these Cert Colors jellies. If you have favorite shades from this line, let me know them down in the comments because I'm kind of stumped on what to get. I've added some to my cart and then removed them and added more. I just can't decide. 2 more manicures in this category. The next one is a combo again. They're all combos. So many combos. And it includes Shleee polish, Things We Do for Love. This one has like a berry leaning purple base with red to copper to gold to green shimmer and linear holographic pigment. And then I topped it eventually with Moonshine Mannys Mom's Hugs. This one has a similar colored purpley mauvey pink base. It's a little dustier than the Shleee actually. And then it also has some shifting shimmer red to copper to gold to green and iridescent flakies that shift red to copper to gold to green. And some hollow too. So I think I wore the Shleee by itself for a day, and of the Shlees I've tried, I think I've tried 5 or 6 Shleee polishes now, and I have not really liked them. Of the Shlees that I've tried, this one did have the best formula. It was on the creamier side, it was fully opaque in 2 coats, and I liked how the color looked on me. It was very neutral, office appropriate, super classy. I did enjoy it, but it was a little bit meh, a little boring. So I just wanted to spice it up a little bit, and I knew Moonshine Mannys Mom's Hugs was not fully opaque on its own. I swatched it in 3 coats on a swatch wheel and could see pretty well through it. So I actually surprisingly decided to layer these. That wasn't a plan when I put on the Shleee. I was planning to add a different topper, but on a whim I did it, and I think it looked really nice. Again, I really enjoyed how the shimmers shifted together. Like these polishes, except for the base color is slightly different, to me just looked like they were made for each other because they both have that red to copper to gold to green shift, just a little bit of hollow, and similar colors in the base. So I definitely think the Moonshine Manny improved the Shleee. If not for this, I probably wouldn't have liked this manicure. Not that the Shleee wasn't pretty, but it just didn't stand out. It wasn't something super memorable, but it was a nice color. I don't know though that I want to keep Mom's Hugs from Moonshine Manny just to have as a topper, because if I'm looking for a topper that shifts red to copper to gold to green, I can use Caloris to Caro Flame, and I have lots of iridescent flaky toppers with clear bases, so they can go over anything. So I'm just kind of stumped on what to do with Mom's Hugs. And also the Shleee polish. I don't know if I necessarily want to keep this either. It's pretty, but do I love it? I don't know. I actually do know. I don't love it. Otherwise it would have been in the other category. And the last manicure that I wore in November that I just kind of liked was a combination. A Skittle? I don't think so. It just combined 3 polishes. It combined Orly's Monrose Red, and this one is a gorgeous red creamy base with a beautiful red pink shimmer. It's very subtle, the shimmer. I also wore Orly Luxe. This one is a gold metallic shade, and I topped the gold metallic with Orly's Deck the Halls topper. This one is a gorgeous topper. It's got a clear base, red and green hex glitters in a variety of sizes, and gold micro glitters. So I obviously wore this combination after Thanksgiving. I was just kind of trying to decide what I wanted to wear from Thanksgiving Day, after Thanksgiving Day to December, and I wasn't ready to dig into my holiday rack quite yet. And then Orly sent this in PR, so I'll link them down below, and I decided why not? I'll just throw them on as a combination. So I've got great things to say about each of these polishes individually. Monrose Red had a beautiful formula. The shimmer didn't show off super well. Like, I really had to look for it, but the formula of this red was beautiful, and I loved how this shade looked on me. Luxe, the gold, was really pretty too. I was not expecting to like this shade of gold on me. I usually go for golds that are a little bit more yellow toned, a little brassier, but this one was very classy and had a nice formula, no brush strokes. It was pretty. And then the Deck the Halls topper was the star. I really loved the green and red glitters, the gold micro glitters. This topper is like indie level quality. You can see there all of those micro glitters. Like, this would look good over so many things all season long. So individually, I really liked these polishes, but as a manicure on their own, I did not necessarily love them. I would have topped the Orly Deck the Halls topper over something different where the glitters were a little bit more noticeable. They got hidden kind of in that gold metallic base. And same for the red and gold. I thought they were beautiful polishes. I just didn't necessarily like them together. Like, I could see myself wearing Monrose Red all by itself as a manicure. I would love that. And then I'm still not 100% sure how I would wear Luxe, the gold. It's really beautiful, but like I said, this just isn't a shade of gold I typically reach for, so I'll have to play around with it a little bit. All right, and there was one manicure that I just did not like this month. The polish comes from Red Lacquer, and it's called Not a Sound. This one has a very sheer purple base with shimmer that shifts green to blue to purple and holographic flakes. So the problem with this one was it was just too sheer for me. I am not a person who always loves sheer shades. Sometimes lately I've liked them okay, but if I can see my nail line very well and it's not a neutral shade, I typically don't like it. And this one, it just didn't sit well with me. I didn't really like it. I didn't like that I could still see a lot of my nail line after 3 coats. I didn't like that it didn't cover up my staining super well, and it just wasn't the right time of year. It's another one I should have probably worn in October, but I didn't get around to it, and so I just didn't enjoy it in November. This is one, unfortunately, I will probably de-stash. I'm tempted to give it another chance over a blurring base, but my topper drawer is getting so full. I don't really have room to just put sheer polishes there. And I know if it's sitting on a nail rack, I won't reach for this because I won't remember that I have it. I would only remember that I wanted to wear it if it was in my topper drawer, and I don't feel like de-stashing stuff to have room for this. So I'm probably just gonna get rid of it. All right, and then there were 4 manicures that I absolutely loved in November. The first one comes from Wildflower Lacquer, and it's called Smooth Criminal. This one has like a brownish taupey kind of base, and then really intense shimmer that shifts purple to pink to gold to green. There's some copper in there and lots of holographic. I think it's linear and maybe it's scattered too. So this was actually a polish that never released from Wildflower Lacquer. I got it for swatching purposes, and I never really know what to do with polishes when I get them that way and then they get pulled and they never get released. Like part of me wants to keep them and wear them if I really like them, which I did obviously, but then I kind of feel guilty about it. So I'm just kind of torn. But regardless, I did wear this one. I did really love it. I don't know, I'm gonna have to compare it. It kind of reminded me of Little Creatures. This one seems a little bit deeper in the base color, a little bit less of like a light, like fawn brown kind of color, a little less cool tone too, maybe. I don't know, I need to compare. But when I had this on, I thought, oh, this looks like Little Creatures. But either way, it was so beautiful. The shifts were glorious. The hollow was amazing, and it just hit the spot for beautiful brown in November. I was obviously very drawn to the neutrals, to the browns this month, and this one had the neutral base, but it was still interesting because of all of those incredible shifts. The formula also was very good for this one. It was a 2 to 3 coater. Another one I really loved came from Pahlish, and it is Tiny Ginger Snaps. This one has a beautiful bricky terracotta base with gold flakes. I love this finish from Pahlish. Let me say it again. I love this finish from Pahlish. Every single time I wear one of Pahlish's gold flaky polishes, I go right to their website and look to see if they have any more for sale because I want to buy all of them. I'm like trying not to because I know in my heart I could get any cream and a gold flaky topper from my topper drawer. I've got a few. And create something kind of similar to this on my own. But there's just something so special about them. The pond effect you get from the different layers, the way they're formulated so perfectly. I can't get enough. And this base color, it was perfect. So fall, so comforting. It was like sitting on the couch, you've got the jazz playing, you're drinking some coffee, you've got the snuggly blanket. It was all of the fall vibes in a polish. I loved it. And then I've got 2 more combos. This one combines Quixotic Polish Delicioso. This one is a multi-chrome that shifts from a beautiful plummy purple to a blue to a pink to a gold to a green. There are many shifts, and the base is kind of like a warm toned purple. And then I topped it with DRK Nails Sera after wearing it a few days. Sera has a clear base, and it's got shimmer that shifts blue to purple to pink and lots of scattered hollow. So the Quixotic on its own was pretty. I liked it. I didn't love it. I liked it though. And then again, I wanted to extend the life of my manicure. I wanted to wear it for a few days and change it up a little bit. So I added this topper. The topper took away some things. I didn't have that gorgeous green shift that I loved so much in the Quixotic alone anymore. I couldn't see it once I added the topper. But the blue and purple and pink shifts were exaggerated, and then it had hollow too. I love hollow. So I actually think it improved it. I posted it on my Instagram, and some people said they preferred the Quixotic on its own actually. So you'll have to let me know what you think. But personally, once I put on the DRK Nails topper, I was sold. And everything I've put this topper over, I have absolutely loved. I just really enjoy that cool tone shift and the hollow flakes. This one would be so pretty in the winter. I just love multi-chromes with hollow. They're beautiful every time. And the final manicure that I wore in November, and my personal favorite, combined OPI's Engagement to Be and KBShimmer Take It or Leave It. Engagement to Be is a gray jelly that builds up pretty well actually. And then KBShimmer Take It or Leave It is a topper. It's got a clear base and these large shifty flakes that shift red to copper to gold to green. They are so shiny. So you guys love this manicure too on Instagram. I got lots and lots of positive feedback, both in person when I wore this and on social media. Just this combo was beautiful. And I've got to thank Carolina from Gotta Love Polish for kind of inspiring this mani. She wore something that I think actually she didn't end up loving too much. But when I saw the neutral base and the fall shifting flakes, I wanted to create something similar. So I pulled this gorgeous gray, which I don't think was on my fall rack, and KBShimmer Take It or Leave It, which also was not on my fall rack, and just built this one up in 2 or 3 coats and then layered this one on top, and it was so simple and elegant and just felt fall. And when I was wearing this, there were still some fall leaves on the trees, so it just felt right, you know. I could see myself recreating this every single season, and this engagement to be. I recommend it. It built up pretty well, and blurred my nail line and canceled out some of the staining on my nails, and I liked it. I think it would look so beautiful under any topper in the fall or winter time. So those were all the manicures that I wore in November. Let me know down in the comments which of these stood out to you, which did you like, which did you not like. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!